I wanted to do a video outside because it's really pretty today. Right over there, those are ancient petroglyphs. And it wasn't just like a site of petroglyphs. It was, I don't want to call it a church because that's not the terminology that they would have used then. But it was a sacred temple church kind of thing. But the sun's just starting to come up, so it's getting a little glary. And I just wanted to say, if you are skeptical of this type of content, I totally understand where you're coming from. When somebody says that you can create the reality that you want, I understand that it sounds nice, but the healthy reaction is skepticism. And I'm right there with you on that. The healthy reaction should be skepticism. You think like, okay, is this guy selling me something? Is he scamming me something? Is he saying ridiculous stuff so he gets some YouTube ad revenue, right? And I get that. But what I decided to do when I was 20 years old, just turned 33, I got older faster than I thought. I want a refund. When I was like 20 and I heard this stuff, because I didn't grow up with any of these types of ideas, I just thought I'd test it. You know, I'm like, this sounds nice. Like, this might be BS. And I just decided to test it. Like, just even recently, this is our new house. And just recently, I wanted a house that opened up to just like tons and tons and tons of nature. That goes all the way to the Grand Canyon out there. So it's probably 100 miles until there's people. And so I went to Google Images. I got a picture of a house that I wanted. All glass, pool like that, opens up. And I put it on my wall, and I just started practicing visualizing it every day. And, you know, it took about a year. We got a house, pretty similar to that. And I have so many of these things that have just happened like that, one after another, after another, after another. And all I can say is once I tested these ideas, they worked. Like, this is my dream car that I wanted. It's an AMG. Goes very fast. And it's a convertible, and I really wanted it. And so that was another thing. I put it on my Google Images, put it on my wall, and I would practice mentally rehearsing it every single day before I would get ready to get working and get going on my day. And I've had so many of these things happen. And so if you doubt this, I understand. All I would do is invite you to test these ideas for yourself, because when you really look at the science, it's really hard to refute that you can bend reality. But the problem is we have so much conditioning. And so how I started was I dropped out of college, backpacked around the world, decided I was going to write a book about it. All the publishing companies said no. Then I started learning about the subconscious mind. And I created a success hypnosis for myself, and I just started listening to it every single day, over and over and over again. And I have a free version of it. You can get it. It's jakeshypnosis.com. If you click the link in the description or pin to the comments right there down below, it's free to use. It's jakeshypnosis.com. And I just started listening to it every single day. I didn't know if it was going to work the way that they say it would. I didn't know if it would, if it wouldn't. I had no idea. I just wanted to test, will this work? And it started to work. And it started to work really well. And the science behind all this is like crazy. I mean, Eric Kandel, he won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine, I believe in the year 2000. It might have been 2002. This guy won the Nobel Prize for medicine. And he won it because he discovered that the cells in your brain aren't fixed. They're permanent, that you could change the synaptic connections in your brain based off of having new beliefs, new ideas, and new emotions. Which tells us that, like, if you believe you aren't good enough or smart enough, or you're bad with money, or you're bad in relationships and you'll always be alone, or you'll always be broke, or you're not good at, maybe you're in real estate and you're like, oh, I'm not very good at sales. You're like, whatever your identity is and your personality is that you believe or have experienced, the science shows us from neuroplasticity that you could change it. Like, that's not really debatable. And then you look at the science on quantum physics, and you see that the actual particles building reality sometimes are waves of energy that are invisible and disappear. And sometimes those same particles are real particles here localized in space and time. That, like, if you had a powerful enough microscope and you could look at this chair and then you see the atoms and you get smaller and you get to the subatomic particles, those subatomic particles would sometimes be the chair and sometimes they would disappear and not be the chair, based off of consciousness, based off of the observer observing it. Which is crazy if you think about it, like, because we think of the whole world as like this real place because we see it and experience every day with our senses. But it's actually kind of more a hallucination, like, if you will. It is a projection of consciousness. And how your consciousness is seeing things is how they're manifesting. So when I dropped out of college and all the publishing companies said no and all this stuff, everyone said, no, this won't work, this is a bad idea, starving artists, it's really hard to make money when you're an author. What you have to remember is that if you aren't careful, other people's ideas will become your own. If you don't guard your imagination and put a do not disturb sign on it, I have a do not disturb sign on my imagination, do not enter. Like, if you do that metaphorically and you don't let other people project their own limitations onto you, you're already won half the battle, because now there's not as much counterforce that you have to cleanse, so to speak. It's not influencing your consciousness. Then when you take it a step further and you go, okay, thank you, but that's not part of my belief system. Thank you. I understand what you're saying. All the authors are going to fail, and starving artists, and it's really hard and it's bad and blah, blah, blah. Thank you, but that's not part of my belief system. And I understand where you're coming from, but if we could please not have this conversation again, it would mean a lot to me. I understand what you're saying. I hear your concerns. I thank you for your concerns. I know you're doing this out of love I know you're saying this out of love for me, but I hear you. I've heard you already. And so that's not part of my belief system right now. And I want to see how this works out. That's all you have to say. And when you don't let that into your mind and you just test these things, what happens is people are carrying around their past so much that they won't even test. Like, they won't even see if they can make more money, if they can start to change their reality, if they can attract their dream house by going to Google Images and printing an image of it and putting it on a wall and practice visualizing it every day. Like, they won't even test. They're just like, no way, that won't work. It won't. And then via the observer effect, what do? They're controlling their reality so they get confirmation of that. Manifestation and consciousness is really a mass cognitive bias experience, right? Cognitive bias, when like you only see what you want to see and you only get confirmation of what you already think. That's how reality works. It's like manifestation bias. It's like, yeah, this won't work because you don't understand. It's hard to make money and I'm broke and I didn't go to the right school and I didn't. See, I just got another bad thing that happened. I told you, this is a scam, Jake. You're lying to me. It's manifestation bias. It's consciousness bias. So what you have to do, you don't have to do anything, first of all. Let me say that. I said that wrong. What I invite you to do is suspend your disbelief and give it a try. Get very clear. What is it that you want? A clear picture of what it is that you want. You could print it out or numerous things out off Google Images. Then you need something to change the input in your subconscious mind. Because the reason motivation doesn't work is because it's conscious. But 95% of your life is controlled by your subconscious. So you have to get into the subconscious. And that's why my free success hypnosis is really useful. It's why 1 million people have downloaded it from all over the world. So you can get that for free. It's right there down below. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description. Use that, get clear about what you want, and then every time somebody comes in with their negativity, you just say, thank you, that's not part of my belief system. Put the do not disturb sign on your imagination. And then I'm not even asking you to believe any of this, but pick a duration of time to which you will test this. Like, all right, let me see in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or do a small test, something to manifest in the next 7 days, 3 days, 14 days, 11 and a half and 3/4 days. And do a test. Because basically what I thought when I came to all this information is this might all be real and we might control our reality, or it might not be real. But the worst thing that could happen would be for me to find out in the afterlife it is real, and I dismissed it when I was here. So I stayed and I was stuck making crappy income, living a crappy life, and I'm like, scam, liars, this doesn't work. Like, that would suck, you know? At least that's what I think. So I decided to give it a try. And so far, it's worked pretty damn well. I just turned 33, and I went from a freshman college dropout with no writing experience, failed my junior English class in high school, to writing a book, and then all the publishing companies said no. So 12 years ago, I had to self-publish it before self-publishing was a thing. So I had to sell 10,000 copies. The average book doesn't sell 2,000 in a lifetime. So it was 5 times more than the lifetime of the average book. That's what they told me I had to sell to get a book deal. Well, I ended up selling 10,000 copies in a year, self-published, with I didn't know anything about marketing, nothing. And then that led to a deal with Penguin Random House, the #1 English publishing company in the world, when I was 22 years old, I think. Penguin Random House, the biggest publishing company in the world, published my book. Then they got translated into other languages. That's my book in South Korean. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I'm just this like kind of dumbass college dropout with a book in South Korean. Like, what's up with that? Like, you know? And I got a check from a company in South Korea. Like, that's crazy. And the only thing I can say is so far it's worked. And to the degree it doesn't work, which it has not worked for me. I have had times when things don't go my way. A lot of times it doesn't. But it always comes back to me. Like, I'm the cause of it. It's because old subconscious programming, childhood trauma, fear, stress, anxiety, right? It's some way that I am messing it up, right? Like, it's like the same idea as like when you turn your radio station in the rock station or the rap station you want to listen to is on 91.1, but you're on 93. You wouldn't be like, the radio doesn't work. You'd be like, no, you're on FM 93, you need to change the knob. And in the same way, it always comes back to like, I need to change my vibe and I need to change my frequency. So, wishing you a great day. I wanted to just make like a cool casual video. If you're skeptical or having issues or whatever. I get it. I just invite you to give it a try, to do your own thought experiment. Don't believe anything I say. Test it for yourself. So yeah, wishing you a beautiful day. You can let me know what city, state, country you're coming from. Give me a flag emoji down below of what country you're coming from. If you haven't yet, you get my free success hypnosis. It's jakeshypnosis.com. It's pinned to the comments and in the description right there down below. If you enjoy this video, you can hit the like button and subscribe. Bell notification is what notifies you for new videos. So if you haven't hit that, that'll notify you. And just want to say thanks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a subscriber. And if you enjoy this video, I'd love to hear from you in the comments right there down below. And yeah, thanks for watching.